Central government has been working hard to address India's twin balance sheet problem. What is a balance sheet? What is the twin balance sheet problem of India? What steps did India take to address the twin balance sheet problem? Why did all the measures fail to solve the twin balance sheet problem? GS Paper 3, Indian Economy. In this video, you can find detailed answers for all the above questions. The above article has been retrieved from thehindu.com, dated December 31st, 2017. What is the context about? Central government has been working hard to address India's twin balance sheet problem, but it hasn't had much to show in the form of results. The Financial Stability Report released by the Reserve Bank of India suggests that India is still far away from solving the troubles ailing its banks and large business corporations. According to the report, gross non-performing assets in the banking system as a whole rose to 10.2% at the end of September from 9.6% at the end of March. What is a balance sheet? A balance sheet is a financial statement that summarizes a company or an institution's assets, liabilities, and shareholders' equity at a specific point of time. What is the twin balance sheet problem of India? Twin balance sheet problem deals with two balance sheet problems, one with Indian companies and the other with Indian banks. Thus, TBS is twofold problem for Indian economy, which deals with over-leveraged companies. Debt accumulation on companies is very high, and thus they are unable to pay interest payments on loans. Note, 40% of corporate debt is owed by companies who are not earning enough to pay back their interest payments. In technical terms, this means that they have an interest coverage ratio less than 1. Bad loan encumbered banks. Non-performing assets of the banks is 9% for the total banking system of India. It is as high as 12.1% for public sector banks. As companies fail to pay back principal or interest, banks are also in trouble. What steps did India take to address the twin balance sheet problem? 5/25 Refinancing of Infrastructure Scheme. This scheme offered a larger window for the revival of stressed assets in the infrastructure sector and 8 core industry sectors. Under this scheme, lenders were allowed to extend amortization periods to 25 years with interest rates adjusted every 5 years so as to match the funding period with the long gestation and productive life of these projects. The scheme thus aimed to improve the credit profile and liquidity position of borrowers, while allowing banks to treat these loans as standard in their balance sheets, reducing provisioning costs. Private Asset Reconstruction Companies (ARCs). ARCs acquire NPAs from banks or financial institutions and try to resolve them. ARCs are a product of and derive their asset resolution powers from the SARFAESI Act. The issue faced, ARCs have found it difficult to recover much from the debtors. Thus, they have only been able to offer low prices to the banks. prices which banks have found it difficult to accept. The Strategic Debt Restructuring Scheme. The SDR scheme was introduced in June 2015, under which banks could take over firms that were unable to pay and sell them to new owners. The issue faced: by December 2016, only 2 sales have been materialized as many firms remained financially unviable. Asset Quality Review (AQR). The RBI emphasized AQR to verify that banks were assessing loans in line with RBI loan classification rules. Any deviation from such rules were to be rectified by March 2016. The Scheme for Sustainable Structuring of Stressed Assets (S4A). An independent agency hired by the banks will decide on how much of the stressed debt of a company is sustainable. The rest will be converted into equity and preference share. The issue faced: only 1 case has been solved under this scheme so far. Why did all the measures fail to solve the twin balance sheet problem? Loss recognition. Banks do not recognize stressed assets and continue giving loans. They are reluctant to conduct the asset quality review for their assets. Coordination problems. Difficulty in deciding compensation by different banks on joint lenders forums, which has not achieved much success. Court cases. Public sector banks are reluctant to write down loans as bank managers are afraid of accusation of favoritism. Lack of capital. Indra Dhanush scheme promised to infuse Rs 70,000 crore into public sector banks by 2018. But this amount is not enough, and banks need at least Rs 1.8 lakh crore more.